Salesforce is rallying today after RBC raised its price target to $215, a new street high. Firm also upgrading the software company to a top pick from Outperform. Call of the day. Shannon, you own it. They say they see significant upside potential, meaningful margin expansion, which will unlock share appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Salesforce has been focused over the last couple of years in several key acquisitions to be able to help monetize and better use their data analytics. And I think that, we've already seen sort of that kind of core user of the CRM, and they're really trying to make sure that as they bring more and more customers onto their platform, that they're able to better use that data and then turn that into better service and also better sales for the core business. So this is still a top name for us, very high conviction despite the valuation. And I think, I like the call here.
Otherwise, no one else owns it.
Completely missed
Microsoft, Adobe. And they do, by the way, in the note, talk about Microsoft as being the more disruptive competitor in that space.
Yeah, well, for me, it's a question of how much beta can I own in the portfolio in the same space? So I'm sticking with just portfolio construction. So I'm sticking with Adobe. I shaved a little because it got too big. Stock had a nice bounce back, and Microsoft's a core holding. So to me, this is a perfect ESG holding. And ESG is the biggest investment, I don't know if you call it discipline, that we see in the market today with 26% of all
You
US
say that
assets.
because of Benioff?
Exactly. Because they've gone to fairness across the board for each of their employees. He's been extraordinary in what he's done.
The CEO.
Yes.
Make sure everybody knows. The stock's a big underperformer to Microsoft and Adobe. Okay, performance is half, at least, of what the others are. Is that where the opportunity lies, though?
I think that's where the opportunity, and kudos to Shannon for being in the name. I've totally missed this one. Price momentum has a way of getting the investors' attention. Salesforce began the year trading, I think, at 142. On October 23rd, Salesforce was 142. It was in the same place. So it did nothing for the better part of literally 11 months. Now you're witnessing finally strong earnings. You're hearing about the integration of Tableau and MuleSoft. They spent $22 billion on those acquisitions, the ability to reach their revenue growth targets in 2021. So now here it is, front and center on everyone's radar. It's a name that I'm going to look at. You give consideration to it. But we had kind of forgotten about this name. I think the one question and concern is when you talk about Mark Benioff, who's a phenomenal CEO. He's been a serial acquirer, and that's been a little bit of a problem for the company. Is that going to pause?
And the Tableau acquisition was expensive. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we looked at Tableau as a standalone company prior to the acquisition, felt that was expensive, and then they paid a significant premium over that valuation to buy the company. So certainly there needs to be a monetization of that type of acquisition, but I think it's queued up pretty well to do so.
Again, do you think you stop making big acquisitions at this point for a while?
I don't see it that way, because I think about it in terms of if they're expecting enterprise spend to continue at the pace that it has over the last couple of years, it can even slow incrementally. Their share of that, that part of the business, and the fact that companies across the spectrum, across sectors, need to have, better management of their data, I still think that there's a huge opportunity here.